Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Davino Kamaro and I will tell you about today's reading. So, speaker A say, I will never forget the first time I met our new contact from Retrolink, one of our top 5 customer. I had traveled to their office to meet him in person, talk about the history of our companies together, and define a shared vision for future cooperation. I wanted to focus on building a good relationship with him, which would be a good foundation for working together. When we meet, I want to make a good impression and also show him respect. I greet him with a handshake and address him by his surnames. When I put my hand out, I realized he had been moving in to give me a hug. So we did an awkward mixture of the two. Also, when I greeted him by his surname, he responded politely, though he used my first name. It was all a little bit uncomfortable. In this situation, I guess I made assumption about the level of formality he expected, even though he had never met me before. He knew our two companies has been doing business with each other for years, and he wanted to build on that history by being less formal with me from the beginning. The real learning here for me was that I shouldn't assume we all have the same idea about meeting people for the first time. And speaker B say, I never worked with a virtual team on an international project before. It was quite exciting, though also challenging to work with people from different countries, many of whom I would never actually get to meet in person. There were a lot of things that were different about working in the same office, and it was quite challenging at the beginning. For example, there were different time zone, different IT system, and even different local regulation, which impact on what each person was allowed to or able to do for the project. There were also interpersonal differences, such as different ways of working, approach to deadlines, and when to reply to emails. We shouldn't forget that the fact that English was the project language and that most people on the team had to work in a language which wasn't their first. A positive of this was it was meant that everyone, including the native English speaker, had to make an effort to communicate clearly and clarify their own and everyone else's understanding. To help us get on the same page, we defined the community norms and the rules the team would follow, as well as the meeting dates and deadlines. We laid this all out in a document called a team or project charter. This was really useful, and in the end, the project was a great success. I'm looking forward to working on my next international project. And the speaker 3 say, speaker C say, I went through a bit of a rough patch last year at work. I was already committed to too much, and then we lost a team member to reconstruction, and I quickly became overloaded. This led me to doing too much overtime and feeling very stressed. My boss was really helpful, and she pushed back against the unrealistic target that has been set for our department. She was introduced me to the SMART approach to goal setting. It's an acronym, SMART. You use it to create goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. I use this I use this approach to deal with all of the things that were overloading me. It helped me to prioritize some tasks, to do some later, and to drop some completely. I often use this approach now and feel much more in control of my time and workload. And speaker D say, have you ever missed a flight or had one cancelled? I did. It happened to me last week. My flight home from a business trip was the last one of the day and we were told it was going to be delayed. There's always a risk at the end of each day. The ground crew kept extending the delay until eventually they canceled the flight completely. They then told us to go back to the airport to departures area to talk to their agent who will organize hotel for everyone and rebook us on the following day flight. As soon as they made the announcements about the cancellation, I knew I had to think quickly would as it would not be likely that the flight would have capacity to take everyone from my cancelled flight. I hurried back through the airport and was one of the first to make it to the desk. That turned to be a good idea, as there were only 9 seats available on the flight the next morning. Everyone else had to fly different airport and then continue back to our destination airport in coach. Lucky me, right? And I think that's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.